Hi, Babita. Welcome to the forum. This is episode 2 of our fireside chat with Avaya. We have with us Saurabh Lakhanpal from Avaya, and I am Jaideep Kanduja. I will be moderating the session. So, let me give a brief introduction of Babita first. Babita is Chief Information Security Officer in CSP Bank, which was formerly known as Catholic Syrian Bank. Right, Babita? Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So, she is the head of IT security, driving the IT security strategy and implementation forward whilst protecting the business from security threats and cyber hacking. And just now she declared that now she has got very great support from management for any additional manpower requirement or any additional powerful systems deployments which she proposes to management. Babita has more than 18 years of diverse information technology and security experience. So she is a veteran CISO, and she is the first lady CISO in any Indian bank. She believes in building high performance cross functional teams that have consistently delivered excellent results. And she has held a series of roles of information technology for over a decade. Over to Saurabh. Saurabh heads knowledge about Avaya platform, Avaya products, and he takes care of pre-sales. Plus, he has in-depth knowledge of Avaya security products. I think Saurabh would be asking certain questions from Babita. So, shall we start, Saurabh?
Yep. Thanks,
Or I
Jaideep.
think I think you should add something to your introduction. I think I missed some good.
No problem, Jaideep. Thanks for the introduction. So, hi everyone. Welcome to the session. My name is Saurabh Lakhanpal, and I head the customer experience portfolio for Avaya for North and East India. And I handle the security portfolio as well, which we have with Avaya. So today's session, welcome Babita. Today's session, we will talk about the insider threats that we have from security front. Right. If we talk about insiders, there are many insiders in any organizations. It can be the employees, can be the partners, or the contractual people, or even the customers. And if you look at the previous costly data breaches that has happened, these insiders are into the center of it. And I was reading a report by IBM. The report was titled "Cost of Insider Threats." And one of the things that strike me was the root cause of majority of the incidents was a negligent insider only. Beside the other people who knowingly did it, and all out of almost 5,000 incidents that reported, two-thirds were because of a negligent insider, right? And so we are talking about insider threats only here. Now, the industry numbers are here in various reports. I referred to just one report, and I mentioned those numbers. But with those numbers, Babita, where do you place insider threats on your priority list?
Thank you, Jayati, for the introduction, and thank you, Saurabh. It is a very good question, and it is very relevant for the time. Why I say it is relevant is because when you talk about the insight, it can be through the outsourced people or outsourced cloud solution or outsourced architecture, wherein the insider might be in the outsourced among the outsourced resources. So that is how we have to segregate when it comes to a insider threat. And many of the cases, if you go into the deep of it, you can identify that this can be a person, it's outsourced staff which is working in a call center, or a company has outsourced certain tasks or applications or certain processes to an outsourced agency, and it has been monitored by that agency, and a malware has come to their place, and that by through an email or something of that kind, and the person unknowingly clicks on it or respond to that. So it is the root from where such actions of cyber fraud starts, and whether it has been an outsourced staff or whether it is inside the organization, it is just because of lack of awareness. When it comes to cybersecurity, we always say that human is the weakest link because it is our illiterateness. Like now we say every day you might be getting in your mobile, say don't save your disclose your card number or OTP to anyone, but still such kind of frauds are happening, and just because the people are unaware of it. When we talk about this pandemic time, people have moved to digitalization all of a sudden. Those people who are below the poverty line, when I was going through some of the statistics, what I can see, those people who are above the poverty line, means like in the top class people, are using digital channel even before. It was 95%. Moderate people were using up to around 60%, and low level people were not, their percentage was 5%, which has suddenly bounced up to 75%. That is the change or the statistics which is gone high, and these people, poor people, are not aware of what they are using. They just know that through this app, if they give this data or this request, this will happen. But who is asking about these questions? And especially those pensioners or people who retired people who are at home, they started using this because they are scared to go outside. Fraudsters are calling them and saying, ma'am, sir or ma'am, your account will be blocked just because you are not given your KYC documents. So I put forward all these examples to show how important is the awareness. Ultimately, it is the awareness that keeps us away from the cyber fraud. Even in the perspective, like if a phishing mail has come to my desk or my employees or my organization people's desk, at least they should identify that it is a phishing mail. Then only they can do something, that they cannot act on it. And they should report to the respective team so that we can take necessary steps. So all those things, that insider attacks or everything is basic, is the awareness. And organizations should take extra care, even if we are outsourcing, whether that people who are put in as resources are well trained and aware of what they are doing and only do what they are asked to. So there should be a monitoring for that.
Right. And you talked about phishing emails, and today morning itself, I received an email which was asking me for a transfer. Right. And what I understood later on was it was a, awareness activity by my IT team only. So, even if we clicked on the link to look at what it is or open up the email, we were safe. But yeah, awareness is very important, as you said. And if any data breach happens or a data security incident happens, it cost on you. Then there can be penalties or brand value diminution as well. So how do you see it in your environment, in a banking environment that you come from? Does any data breach, does it cause penalties or the brand value diminution in your environment?
By God's grace, till now this date, I haven't come across that. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Okay. Then when it's like very apt that why people are worried about data breach. It is ultimately a breach of security. Earlier, we are talking more about the data breach because people like earlier we were talking about the ransomware only, where wherein all the systems has been tampered, we are not able to access, and the company have to pay the ransom amount to bring back the system in place. Now people have become more aware of the things what they have to do if a ransom attack has come over, and we started recovering our data and recovering our systems in place so that the people who are working on it is not getting any benefit out of it. So what they started doing, they started exfiltrating critical data. When it comes to critical data, it is in our India right now, we don't have a data privacy bill or act in place with which we can raise a penalty to the company or the organization. but we are in the process. So in the near future, it is going to come. Now itself, organization like us started preparing for that, and we are more aware about it, and we are working on it so that the datas are not going out without our permission. So it is very important, especially when all the datas or accounts are being linked with Aadhaar. If an Aadhaar data is being exposed or it is being used for creating a fraudulent account, that itself is a cyber fraud. There's no need for a ransom attack to happen to exfiltrate the data. So when it comes to a data breach, it can be in any ways. Whether if a hard copy of a Aadhaar is being put carelessly somewhere and people are misusing it, that is also a data breach.
Mm-hmm.
For the purpose for which a data is being given to a customer, people will, for example, to open an account, if we are saying that we have to give an Aadhaar copy, it is a responsibility of the bank to ensure that that copy which has been taken from the customer is kept intact and is not made available to others to misuse it. And customers also should be made aware that whenever we are giving, we have to strike it and tell that for this purpose only, I am providing this proof. So there also awareness comes into existence. So data is always valuable, and it is based on the data the whole business is running.
Right. And as you mentioned, initially, and Jaideep also mentioned in your introduction, you're using, technology to bridge the security gap. Now, newest technology, which, we usually talk about nowadays is artificial intelligence, right? So are you using any artificial intelligence in your environment to, keep security breaches at bay? And how do you see, the AI algorithms bridging the gap within security?
Yes, we do use artificial intelligence. Before we diving into the usage of artificial intelligence, I just want to explain why AI is important now. Because artificial intelligence was there, it is nothing but the ability of the system to act on the basis of the data which is available, and it will act itself without giving any instruction.
Right.
So that in a simple language we can say about artificial intelligence. Now technology has gone in such a way that fraudsters started using innovative technologies like AI for hacking into the systems, and that is what we call as a advanced persistent threat. When people are getting into the system, earlier if a person have to hack into the system, he have to first study about the infrastructure, what are the security measures which is available in the organization. Then he have to do some social engineering kind of thing, how he can get the password, username and something to get into the system. Then he have to work day and night so many days and all to get into find the vulnerabilities of the system. Then he have to come up with some logic or tactics with which he can get into the system. Just imagine if a fraudster knows about the AI technology, just by deploying a malware which is having the AI capability, it is very easy for him within fraction of second or within a day, which earlier they would have taken 180 days or 230 days. That is the normal thing, what we say that to get into a hacker, to get into their organization, it will be reduced to 5 or 6 days or even less than that. That malware itself have the capability to analyze the system, find the vulnerabilities of the system, find which machine is having which vulnerability in that, and even we can take based on the user behavior, they can get the username and password or how this application is working. So all these things is easily available with them. So what we are doing now, we have to do is, in order to fight this, we have to be equipped with AI-based technology. And for that, it is the endpoint wherein all the fraudsters start their work. And if we have a EDR with the AI-based algorithm in that, wherein it can find if any particular malicious activities, abnormal behavior is happening in that particular machine, immediately it alerts and we can take necessary steps. And again, we can go for AI-based SIEM tool, where we can reduce the false positives and SOAR on top of it, which is also AI-based technologies there. wherein we can have a faster incident response plan. So ultimately, it is the incident response that keeps the things in place. So I always believe that we have, as fast as attacks can happen, we should believe that at any point of time attacks might come, but how fast we are able to identify it and remediate it, that is what makes the most benefit out of it.
Right. And, initially or in the previous answer, you mentioned that, the smartphone devices use or digitization use is increasing day by day. And with the pandemic, it has increased many folds, even in the, the tier 4 or tier 5 cities as well. Now, with, the usage of smart devices on the rise, how do you see, the data security being deployed to contain the breaches?
See, here what we can do is from a bank's perspective, we are there to secure the data which is available in the bank's environment only. But those data which is already available in the device of the customers, it is again, I have to say that it is a customer awareness that which we need to create. Now, what is happening is even most of the house is having smart TV. People started using smart TV, and fraudsters are using the smart TV to raise a DDoS kind of attack. So this is the kind of the way the world is moving nowadays. People are using smartphones and smart TVs and all, and we don't know what we have to restrict, how we have to block our Wi-Fi, what and all things we can allow. If we are not using, we have to shut down the Wi-Fi, or we have to protect the Wi-Fi with a password, a strong password, just not with a simple password, with a strong password. So all this ultimately comes and ends with the awareness. We have to create a cyber awareness among the society, like what we should be aware about, what are the kind of frauds happening in this world, and how we are remediating, or what is the cause of such kind of fraud, because now nationwide attacks are also happening, so it can happen in any way. And usage of smartphone is obviously a risk factor is included in that. Now perimeter has with this pandemic time, our perimeter got extended. People are working from home, they are using their own laptops and connecting to the bank's network. So we CISOs, we have to work with the requirement as per the business have to move forward. We have to come up with more security tools wherein we place a dedicated VPN with the geolocation, multi-factor authentication, and the ways to identify the asset posture of the machine which is being connected to the system. So this for every lock there will be a key, like that. The same way it will go. If something goes wrong, we will block it, and something new will come in place. So this cat and mouse game will go on.
Very true.
Exactly, it will go on. And so, when we talk about any security solutions, you said you have, different security solutions in place. And when new threats come in, you would look at, different security solutions as well, which would cater to, those breaches as well. Now, there is cost involved in any solution, that you deploy. Now, do you think, any data security solution would pay for itself in the long run?
See, as far as cybersecurity is concerned, there is no single solution. That is a fact. I cannot say that I am having a strong EDR solution or a SIEM tool with me just because of that my system is secured. We have multi-layered solution with us. According to me, I believe in multi or hybrid technology, wherein if my next-gen firewall fails, then it should be captured in the IPS, or it will be if it is in the WAF. So it is a multi-layer technology which I rely on. And ultimately, I think that most of the BFSI have very strong security tools, and most of the security tools which has been used worldwide is already available. And I think our Indian banks are in a better security posture when compared to the other world. For that, RBI, we have to thank RBI who have released the cybersecurity framework, which in turn has a very good framework which shows what and all things need to be done. But here, what I would like to say is, it is not just because I'm having an EDR, it will work. How I configure it, that makes the difference. So are we using the tools up to the mark, or what the people are promising us? Are we configuring it in the same way? That is what we have to look upon. And I feel like if we put all this and we have to review it very frequently to ensure that, because at sometimes we might give some exceptions based on the requirement. And these exceptions may not be reverted. That could be the reason why a cyber attack would have come. So it is ultimately the evaluation of the technology which has been used, reviewing of the technology and the configuration that matters. So definitely, we have to rely on security tools that are not only a single tool, but the way we configure matters more than this.
Yeah, I think it is a question of configuration that is very important, but it is also important to update, to have the updates in time. Like a few minutes delay in updates can cause a big loss to the whole enterprise. So that is very important.
Yeah, that is what. See, what we can see is whatever frauds which has been reported or cyber attack has been reported is through the exploitation of existing vulnerability. It is
Correct.
not a new thing. So fixing up the existing vulnerability on time is
Yeah,
what matters.
yeah. And what you deploy today may not suffice your purpose tomorrow. So that uh, re-evaluation is very important.
Yeah.
Reassessment, re-evaluation. Sorry, Saurav.
No issues. I think that was a very valid point that the re-evaluation is very much
Yeah,
important. Time to time you need to have a look at whether my security solutions that are in place today are able to cater to my tomorrow or not. If not, then I need to look at the solution which can cater to the tomorrow as well. Now, with that
Yeah,
in
one
mind,
point,
yeah,
so I would like to point here is that we have all these security tools in place. There are mighty tree attack framework is also in place, and we can do a team kind of thing like what and all things are in place. They have given different types of attacks which has happened in this world, and if we are able to correlate that with our environment, I think we are pretty good in our security post.
yep, that's good to hear. And let's say you are given a free hand at selection of any security software or the tool that you want. What all would you want to put in in your environment that would make you more secure?
Right now, I think almost all the security solutions, which has been directed by RBI, they have covered almost all the solutions that is already in place. Now I will be working more into the refining of the solutions, and I am thinking about revamping my tool with SOAR, and that will be my priority for this year. And container app, and based on the business requirement, I might need to go for security tools to cater the same.
All right, and thank you, Babita, for your candid answers. That was my last question. Thanks, everyone, for joining. Jadeep, over to you.
Yes, thank you, Saurabh, for those wonderful questions, and thank you, Babita, for answering them more wonderfully. Time and again, I noticed that you were emphasizing on awareness, and I feel that awareness element is very important, especially in your environment, banking environment, behavioral analysis,
Yeah.
awareness. Like you were talking about physical copy of Aadhaar. Now, if I am an employee in a bank and I take a photo of that Aadhaar in my camera, I mean that is very easy, and that
Yeah.
no system can capture.
Yes.
So it becomes very easy for me to do blunders with that Aadhaar
Yeah. Yeah.
copy. Similarly, important information of banking, what comes after you log in your system, and you just leave your system for a second and somebody else comes and takes a photo of your screen. I think it will be very difficult to capture. I mean, even cameras, you have cameras in place, but I don't know if all cameras. So that behavioral analysis within perimeters, outside perimeters, through system, manually, whatever way, I mean, that has become very prominent now.
Yeah.
Raising alarms, alerts in an automated manner, and exception handling. I mean, those have become more important. Like nowadays, the time is gone that security guy sits in front of the screen and keeps on monitoring the screen rollovers.
No, I cannot agree to that, Devdeep. The thing is, like in our environment, as you said, in the ATM counters where most of the frauds happens by just insert fraudster is trying to take. We have to AI-based surveillance. Surveillance is in place, wherein by the movement or some unusual behavioral alarm is set, automatically the near station is so now our environment has changed. People are more alert, and now it's not like 1 year back. Now people are more even I think like to a certain extent now they are aware. They know what to know. Earlier they are even not aware of what cyber security or cyber attack or what is the need of it. Now I think to a certain extent we have matured ourselves to cope with all these things when compared to others. So, for example, even if you see for a foreign transaction, you cannot get an OTP, but for all Indian transactions, there is an OTP. Yeah. So our system is such a secured manner that our government has taken all the necessary steps to tackle it much ahead of the time.
Yeah, but I mean, you take 2 steps and the hackers take 4 steps.
4 steps. That is what I told. The mouse and cat and mouse game will go on.
Yeah, and that is where we need Saurabh's expertise to help us.
Yeah,
right, definitely.
Thank you so much. And anything else you want to add?
Jaydeep, it was really a wonderful session. I think
same here.
Our viewers will be at least beneficial out of it. Something they will get.
Yeah.
And Saurabh, it was an excellent questions. And
thanks.
Thank you for inviting me for this.
All right.
Thank you.